of an exciting update because it's the first update after the release of CodeSpells on early access. So hopefully there's some new people watching, or some new people will watch the YouTube video after we post this update on YouTube. So welcome to all of you. If you've never seen a dev update from the CodeSpells team before, it's nice to have you here.
This is also the first time that we are using the head-strapped-on camera for Steven to see what I'm saying.
Yes, it is a definite technological advancement. I wish other people could see this, but yeah, Adrian literally has a camera strapped to his head, and he's got it pointed at CodeSpells in his office so that I can see it in real time from California.
Steven, do you have an ad running on your computer?
An ad running on my computer?
Yeah, it's
like
a
on Twitch.
Question.
On Twitch? Yeah. It just ended. Why?
Well, we can hear your Twitch.
Oh, you can hear my Twitch? Because I can't hear my Twitch.
Yeah,
maybe that explains it. That is bizarre. All right, well, I closed my Twitch.
Cool.
I'm sorry that it was bothering you. Did it stop?
Cool.
All right.
Cool. All right, I'm going to start up the game, I think. I don't know, yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah, let's do it. So actually, there's quite a lot to talk about, because I know that, we made a kind of a big push right before the release and added a bunch of nifty features, so I think we'll just kind of go through those. The main thing is there are a lot of cool artifacts in the world, and I've been watching a lot of CodeSpells videos online. I don't think anyone has figured out all of the artifacts. Maybe everyone collectively has, but yeah, some of them are a little bit subtle.
Yeah, there's one especially. I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm sorry. This is going to drive me crazy if not. Okay. Yeah, there's one especially that I don't think we've seen anyone use it. It's a little bit subtle, but it's one of me and Jason's favorites. So.
Yeah, and also a lot of those artifacts are we haven't quite finished adding effects to them and stuff to make them a little more obvious about what they do and stuff. So
yeah,
they'll get polished as they go. Little things about them we've already started polishing because the more we played with them, the more we realized oh, this thing is kind of busted this way, but it works better that way, and switching things around. So
Jason, what's the lore behind these artifacts?
Well, some of them are. There's only one artifact in the world right now that is that looks like it was made by people, and we'll show them to you. But the other ones are kind of naturally occurring. So trying to make a bunch of materials that you'll find in the world that do different things, and so we'll go through them and we'll talk about each one. So they're kind of scattered everywhere right now. We're hoping that as we go, it gets more specific. These are here because it is close to this type of thing, so that they start to make a little bit more sense to the player. So, okay.
So that was a new thing right there. That rock pushed water away, and it created a dent in the water.
Yeah, that rock displaces some water, which is kind of cool. It's a little funky the way it happens, but it gives the effect of water going around a big rock.
So you could use it to maybe dam up a river or something like that?
Yeah.
The big rocks. That's not pushed just yet. So that's not available to people yet.
That's not in the most recent.
We need to tweak it just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're hoping to do it.
Yeah, and I think there's at least one feature in here that is definitely not out yet, right? That's we'll show that off last. I don't want to spoil the surprise. But what about the log? The log's kind of an artifact.
Yeah.
I don't know if it can.
So there's logs that float on the water.
There's all sorts of. We wrote There's a lot more stuff in the world than previously. So logs, everything has different properties. Logs obviously get pushed around by water, which is very fun. They float on it. And there's just a lot more stuff in the world in general. There's a lot more rocks and stuff, and you can just kind of explore and find different ones.
That log is getting away from me.
Yeah, you know, I respect that. And you can tell, like,
If-
here there's no current down here, and because it's just kind of the lake and it's settled over here, so logs don't really move from where they are. But starting up there, the logs got pushed down with the current for the water.
And it's cool because it creates these little natural pile-ups of things that make sense. Like if there's water, then you'll get some logs down at the bottom bobbing around in the lake because they've been blown down the river and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, can you float on the logs?
You can try.
You can try. It's very hard to stay
You
on
know.
one.
It's
Um,
you can. They're a little bit thin, but
Yeah.
we can try it.
There's a bigger one. There's what the
Let's see
other
if
log
I
is
can
much
grab
bigger.
this guy.
Can you? This is crazy. Could you attach logs together so
Ah,
that
no.
they're more
Come
stable?
back here.
Whoa!
Ah.
Ah!
Okay, well I messed that up.
Attach logs together.
There's not a good way of doing that. There are a few. There's several Blockly features that we want to implement, and one of them would be something more like a welding type thing that would allow you to like grab objects together.
Well, let me
a little
ask.
bit better.
Let me ask this: if you could attach logs together, is the physics intelligent enough that that would make it more stable in the water?
Yeah, it would. Yeah. So
That
there is
is
a way of doing
very
it. We just ran by a pretty cool little guy over there, but let's get to a.
Get to the brighter part.
Yeah, it's
The
just
world.
muggy over here.
Now, is there a trick to finding these artifacts? Or they just kind of
Nah,
uniformly
they're just
disappear?
kind of
They're
around.
currently just kind of scattered around. So here's one. This one is one of the ones that is. It's got
That's
a little
pretty
symbol
fun.
drawn on it.
Yeah.
For
So this one's man-made then,
yes.
right?
And
Yes.
this one is for. It's got a little symbol, which I think I'm starting to play around with these symbols to sort of indicate what type of magic they are, and that one is Earth magic, and it has a little
cool.
sort of gravity-like symbol on it. So this one pulls objects towards it, and it's very heavy.
Ah, man, that drives me crazy.
Yeah, we're having a problem
Yeah,
with
what's the?
too many
Yeah, what is that?
too many orbs cause the camera to bloom too much, and it makes it really, really bright. So when you cast a bunch of orbs, we have to fix that.
So yeah, so this
Oh,
one
so
pulls
this one
up.
already has one rock kind of attached to it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
there's one little guy right there. But if we
That's
if we
awesome.
just kind of nudge it a little bit closer to that log, it should grab it.
Yeah,
And then
and you can
now
tell
it's gotta.
like it's just a little too hard to manipulate these things right now. But
Yeah.
as we play more with the way you can like grab objects and move objects around, you'll be able to set up like kind of more elaborate stuff with these objects.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
could have, things that are pushing everything away and things that are pulling things in. There's a push and a pull block, so you could build little contraptions that push and pull things around.
Yeah, I like the push one a lot more. It's a little bit easier to use.
I think we should restart so it's daytime. I think it's much easier to see in the day
Okay.
on the video.
Alright, let's do it. I'm gonna restart.
restart.
And we'll do another seed.
We also, I don't know if it's in this build that Adrian's playing, but we set the time to start a little bit earlier so it doesn't get dark as fast.
Did you push that?
Oh yeah.
I think it is, but I can't say.
Well, then probably. We can tell with
So the game now starts at 10 in the morning instead
So-
of
so-
in the afternoon.
So just assuming, so if things were easier to move, what kinds of things could a player do with these artifacts?
You could take a rock and drop it over one and it would launch it in the direction that it was pointing in. You could collect objects that come down a river by having it sort of positioned in a way so it could like collect the things that are coming in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, here's
Oh wow.
this is my favorite.
It caught one of those pull ones.
Yeah. So this is a gravity
Ah.
well, which is
Oh, you
similar
got
to that
stuck in it.
block,
No, you got stuck in it.
except that it's not directional. So these are just they're just like a well of gravity that pulls things in, and inside each one
Is the greatest thing ever.
is the bouncy ball.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
And it's very stuck right now.
Over here.
Now, is this one naturally occurring? This seems man-made as well, but I don't know.
No, it's naturally occurring. I mean, it could have been man-made. I don't know.
It was made by
I think of it
Jason.
as a naturally occurring element.
Bouncy ball.
So the
Go
bouncy ball
Be free.
Oh, that is awesome.
is like a
Bouncy ball.
giant crystalline rubber ball that bounces around the world. And
Oh my gosh.
you know, when we were making all these artifacts, we just thought, well, we're gonna need a ball because somebody's gonna want to make something, some kind of game, some kind of contraption where they have a ball. And I already am obsessed with making an elaborate golf game.
That would be awesome.
Where the gravity wells are the holes for the golf game, and you just have to like take them and launch them really far to try and get them in there. And I've already spent hours messing with spells to try to make the perfect like shot for the
Uh-oh, my head's
The
dragged.
controlling it in a fine-tuned way is a little bit difficult, but it's but like I said, we're gonna just keep seeing what people like do with these things and see what people want. Awesome.
So does the bouncy ball float on the water?
The bouncy ball does float on the water, yeah. Yeah.
Now what kind of spell are you writing here?
I don't know. Let's see. What are we doing? So, what we're doing here is when we create it, we'll set the orb speed to medium, so it'll fly in the direction we're pointing. When we hit something, we'll create an elastic connection to it and start orbiting the player at a distance of 3 meters. Let's do 5 meters away from the player, and let's make it, I don't know, let's make it pretty slow. So make it like 5 seconds for it to go all the way around. And then when we activate it, we'll break the orbit and we'll, let's just lock it to the player target. So that'll lock it to wherever the player is looking, which is pretty powerful. And we'll set it to like 15 away. So if we shoot a lot of these, we should be able to grab that bouncy ball. And,
I've tried this spell. There is a problem with it.
and then the bouncy ball will follow us.
And the problem is that the bouncy ball, every time I get the bouncy ball to orbit me, it trails behind because the elastic connection causes it to swing in and hit me.
Oh yeah.
And I get real mad at the bouncy ball because it's like
You can't really
swinging
blame the
death
bouncy ball ever. It's never the bouncy ball's fault. Don't ever blame
This
the
is awesome.
for your...
This is awesome.
There he is, and if you let him go,
Oh,
he'll
yeah.
go flying, right?
Yeah, well he'll
See-
go in front, so we can just place him in front now. Hey, get over here.
He's going
Bouncy
for it.
ball, bouncy ball.
Don't let it
Make
get
it a run
away.
for it.
Don't let it get away.
I can't go any faster.
Look at your orbs are going nuts.
Bouncy ball. Alright, here we go. Let's grab on.
They're doing
No,
a
no,
crazy
it's-
dance.
It's
They'll
gonna hit the
reset,
death
they'll
pit.
reset. Okay, they're good now. Alright.
Oh, sweet. You got it.
Bouncy ball.
Okay, this is gonna make an awesome soccer game. We're gonna play a soccer game. Wizard soccer.
I think we could. I may or may not have just made a rock with a giant hole in it.
Oh man.
Perhaps for that purpose.
Jason's been really wanting to play Wizard Golf.
Wizard golf or wizard soccer for sure. Yeah.
Hey, now, get over here. Okay, well, Bouncy Walk is not working out too well,
I made.
which is fine.
Were you just trying to have a spell that to move it from place to place, or
I don't know. You know,
So
it doesn't matter.
these objects, these little crystal basalt-like column clusters, which grow out of the top of mountains and little debris from them falls down. These have the property of repelling water strongly. So if you place water around them, they push it away pretty hard. So this would be a really good way to, you can see as he's moving around, the water is parting. So this would be a really good way to change the flow of water or move naturally occurring water around.
It's also pretty fun to just throw it into water.
And it's fun to just like throw it into water, and you can like kind of part water and let it sit there. And instead
Could I build a house out of it?
Probably.
You could build a pile out of it.
That's good enough for me. I don't have high standards for living accommodations.
Yeah,
What
so
else
that's-
can we
hey,
find?
Yeah, that's the one I didn't figure that one out. Actually, I will admit I didn't know about the basalt
Yeah, the
column.
basalt one
It's
is
a little
trick.
too subtle.
it's a little subtle.
Maybe
Yeah.
some sort of particle for it or something, but
See
it's
what
pretty
else
fun.
we can find.
There's a temple
There's
over
the
there.
temple.
I don't know if I want to go to that temple right now.
Let's see, what else did we put in the world?
So,
These rocks are still hanging out. Our good old-fashioned floaty rocks.
you guys, you know.
Yeah.
No
Floaties.
gravity. They float around. We have a few ideas about another property we're going to add to them, but it'll just come when we refine more of the different elements. That'll make those floaty rocks a little more useful, so they're not just there to float around.
There's a lot of
Oh,
bouncy
there's
balls.
something.
There's a lot of bouncy balls on this map.
So this guy over here, kind of hard to see when you're far away,
This guy freaks out.
is a fire tree.
Oh man.
So this guy lights on fire when you get close.
And if there is a lot of foliage around this,
It will light
will.
that foliage up.
It's kind of a steep incline, so I don't know if we're gonna get much foliage.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, it's pretty cool because
It's spreading over here. There's some
yeah.
foliage over here. It's spreading too.
and it's hard to see fire, and it's hard to kind of see what fire is doing. So we're still refining the way the fire spreads and works. But eventually, we want there to be these objects that can sort of start unnatural fires, and
Right.
which could be useful or it could be really dangerous.
So it's when you get close to it, the thing just like bursts into flame.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a little
Weird defense mechanism.
I'm gonna keep making a bunch of these toys or artifacts. Like, we're just gonna keep making these and just to show off new fun things. And they're also just fun to play with. It's fun to have different effects in the world that you can kind of just interact with. It's a nice little forest.
One thing I got obsessed with the other day was I wanted to use fire to like fight the flow of a river, and so I just like I wanted to see like how many explosions I could, or how many explosions were required to get the river to just stop flowing.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, actually. Ultimately, the river won, but
Yeah.
I was winning for a little while.
But see, now that you know about basalt columns, you could use them to help you.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, fighting a river with fires, it should not be an effective way to do it.
Yeah. And
That's
that's,
fun
you
as
know,
a baby.
what we're trying to do is just create like a true sandbox. Like we just want there to be enough fun little things to walk around and use and play with and mix up that, you know, you feel like you have these things that you can create cool little devices and cool little just experiments with and refine your spells around them and make little games around them like the golf game or whatever, you know, and just like a real 100% magic sandbox. So
Are the Croakers still around?
Croakers are still around. They're kind of,
This is not a very watery map.
yeah,
So
maybe we
there's
should
not
make a
too
new
much.
map. See if we can
Let's
find
make
Croakers
a
maybe
new
I'll
map.
get.
Croakers. So I know this is in the release notes, but it's important to note that everything is seed-based, so if you don't take note of that seed, you know, you don't get that world back. And you can enter your own number in there too if you want, but the changes you make to the world are not currently saved. So if you change the course of a river and log out and log back in, it's not going to be changed. It's just the terrain and everything stays the same.
Right.
Thought it crashed for a second. It did not.
Now, saving is something that that's on the roadmap, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do want to do that at some point. It's just one of those things we haven't really. It requires, with it comes a lot of other expectations for the world, but we'll get to it. It's just for us, it's easier right now, especially since we're changing stuff as well. If we change the maps and you had a save file for a map, and we change the way that procedural generation works, we'd have to have a nice way of supporting old files, old save files. So for now, we're just, until we have a nice stable version of the procedural generation, we don't want to worry too much. Let's get this guy.
Why are you putting them in there?
Because I want to.
I think you should. We should see if we can find a spring. Oh yeah, you can see there's a basalt thing in there pushing away the water.
Yeah, it's creating a hole in the water.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So you can grab it and kind of just swing it around.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is amazing. That's actually really cool. So you could kind of like line up a line of basalt columns and then have a cool like path across the water.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
Yeah, totally.
Oops. I just missed a lot.
Oh my goodness! That is so cool.
The water looks a little bit wonky right now. Yeah, I messed with that a little bit, and it looks a little bit wonky from the latest version, so we need to fix that. But
I have to say, I think this is the coolest water physics of any game. Is that fair to say? I mean, like, can you think of any other game that has more accurate water physics?
there's some pretty cool water out there. If you go to waterphysics.com, that's not true. Don't do that. I don't know what that'll lead you to. We do not endorse waterphysics.com, whatever it may be.
Not necessarily. I mean, if it's great, then I'll happily endorse it.
Yeah, no, there's actually a lot of like physics, and NVIDIA have a lot of really cool water demos, and we can't really use a lot of that because we, at least for the time being, Macs don't support a lot of that stuff, and it's kind of impossible for us to rely on incredibly new things like that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of really cool water demos out there.
Yeah, that are very like graphics card heavy. Oh, there's a croaker down.
They just haven't really come out yet.
There's a croaker.
There's two croakers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we found a croaker.
Hanging up by a waterfall.
They're not really like available in a good state, and we can't really rely on that right now. So as far as in a game, I don't know. I haven't seen any other game really use water. From Dust had a cool system, but it was much less. It was much more coarse and not intended to run around at this level. But it had a really cool system. That one game, the SimCity like game.
City Skyline.
Cities, yeah, that one has a cool water system.
Yeah, really.
It's also much more coarse, but it has a really cool water system that like floods the cities and stuff. But
I think the reason why is that it's the big obstacles that we run into with the water is that when you're able to get when you're able to get that close to the water, like in our game, and you want to manipulate it in these really specific ways, it's hard to get that to look really good because it's different than normal video game water. Normal video game water is just a plane that looks pretty, so it's like And a game like City Skylines or From Dust has the advantage of the camera being far away
Yeah.
from the player, so or from the water. So we've definitely made a trade-off where sometimes the water looks a little funny and jumps around, but it acts more like water than water in most video games like this. So.
And the other thing is we're also trying to simulate a large world, and we're trying to simulate it properly. Most games just ignore what happens when you're not around, and it just kind of tries to fake it when you get back. But we do want as much as possible for it to feel like it's still going on. So in that way, we have to make a lot of trade-offs in terms of how much water we can simulate, because we do need to keep track of all of the water on the map.
It's spooky over here.
It is spooky.
So can we show off the upcoming feature, the new feature,
Yeah,
which is actually a resurrection of an old feature?
Yeah, there was a question about Blockly blocks and JavaScript stuff, so we can talk about that as well. But we can do the other thing first. I mean, it's just sand. We'll bring your sand back.
This is always one of my favorite features, by the way.
I really like sand. I don't know. I always thought.
So we had this. This was one of the first things you built, right? Because this is in the Kickstarter video, was sand manipulation, and then it dropped off somehow. I don't know.
It just wasn't built for the large maps, and we had to re-implement it. But
I also was opposed to it.
Jason had something against sand.
I wasn't opposed to sand. I just didn't like the way it was all chunky around the edges, and now it's not chunky around the edges, and I like it.
Still a little bit. Right. There's a little bit more to do, but it'll be back in the next update. So that'll be nice. It's nice to have sand. Sand is,
it's fun.
Sand is like it's physical, but it's also a fluid, and this is actually much more like the water, so it does have a flow direction and stuff. There is some cool stuff we can do with the fact that it has a flow direction.
Really?
But I don't know if I want to talk about that right now.
Yeah, I mean,
at some point we might be able to make sand, water, like erode sand, and do a couple more things like that. We're not going to do that yet, but since it is a fluid, it will be a lot easier to add other fluids in the future. So it'll be pretty cool. But
magic fluids. We also haven't figured out like where sand occurs naturally in the world yet. Like we haven't placed any of it on the map as a part of the generation.
Do that just yet. For the next update, we'll have sand where you can just create it and like create trenches and stuff. But I don't think we'll have the exact. We won't have it naturally occurring for a little bit, just because that takes some time, and we'll have a few more things to do before that. But yeah, I mean it's here, and it's fun to play with, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I made a trench spell also. Yeah.
It was always one of my favorite ways to like control croakers, right? Because you can kind of keep them from coming after you if you have a steep enough slope.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any croakers. Anyway, they can handle some pretty steep slopes though. So
because croakers are like the only living thing in the world. They're always like doing weird stuff and surprising me. Like I'm always like, that croaker's climbing a mountain.
Yeah, the croakers are hilariously, I won't say dumb, but they're simple.
They're simple. Yeah.
They'll be a little smarter in the long run. But
or purposefully dumber.
It is funny how. I mean, I'm just gonna like give away all secrets because I mean, it's not really a secret. But right now, the way that they're placed in the world is they're just placed close to springs, and they don't actually search for water. They just find the closest spring and walk directly towards the spring. And if they hit any water along the way, then they drink it. So oftentimes they will be at the spring, but it's on an incline, and they won't get any water because they're too dumb to keep walking slightly harder to get the water that's collecting. So they need some work, but I don't know. I mean, they work. They're fun to run into. So it's exciting that once we get to more life stuff, it should get a lot more interesting once they actually have meaningful behaviors and start doing stuff with the world.
Cool. Well, I don't have Twitch open because apparently it's doing wonky audio stuff. So
Yeah.
So if there are questions, go ahead and
Yeah. So
just
there was a
say them out
question about
Blockly.
Blockly, new Blockly blocks and JavaScript encapsulation. So I mentioned on the forums that we are just heard Croaker.
They're right
Oh
there.
shoot!
Speaking of Croaker.
Yeah, so we are working. There's a new
Nice.
version of Blockly that we're upgrading to now, and it should give us some really cool features. And one of the things that we're working on is actually transferring over to pure JavaScript implementations. That sound is definitely 2D. That was weird. I need to fix that. Sorry, the lifting sand sound was sounding when I was really far away from it.
No.
So we're moving towards a pure JavaScript implementation of the programming interface. We're still not 100% sure that we're going to do it, but we're trying it and it seems to be going well, so hopefully we will do that, but we don't want to promise that we'll do that. But if that does work, then it'll be much easier to have JavaScript coding as a version, or as a way of creating spells in the game, because we'll basically sandbox it so that it is pure JavaScript as opposed to Unity script coding
Right.
spells.
Right, and I won't have to keep complaining.
Yeah. Steven is not a fan of calling JavaScript and Unity JavaScript because it has real classes.
I have nothing against the language. I actually kind of like Unity script. It bugs me that they call it JavaScript.
It's true, and it's inspired by it. It's based on true events.
And it is very similar, and that's actually one thing that makes it even worse. Is like you can look at a snippet of Unity script, and if sometimes it looks exactly like JavaScript, it really is the same. But then there are parts of it that are different. So anyway, it confused me a lot when I was first learning Unity. So I guess I still have some bitterness pent up inside me. But yeah, right now the Blockly blocks compile the Unity script, but they will compile to actual JavaScript.
Yeah, look at that mountain. That's cool to the right.
No,
No,
I can't
there.
tell.
That's a sweet mountain.
So the plan would be to do that, and then we do want to add some new, like I said, we want to add some new Blockly blocks. Our goal is to get to Air Magic soon. I think, by the end of this month, we want to have Air Magic and at least a better version of Fire Magic. Water and Earth, we're fairly satisfied for now. We'll keep adding features to them, particularly as we do the other elements. But for this month, our main goal is to do this Blockly transition and kind of clean up the whole programming interface and get the last two elements to a fairly acceptable state. We have a lot of cool ideas for Air Magic and for debugging spells and stuff like that, which will become easier if all this Blockly stuff goes well. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're focused on right now for the end of this month. We'll have some more updates before the end of the month. We're trying to make as many of these artifacts as we can, just for fun, just to keep populating the world with cool stuff. There are a lot of logs in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. They're going nuts.
It's loggy.
It's
So every time we've given one of these updates, someone's always asked about multiplayer. So I'll just go ahead and ask it myself. What's up with multiplayer?
Multiplayer is cool. Yeah, no. Our original plan. So our original plan was to have multiplayer by early next year, based on the Kickstarter. So I think we're still sticking to that plan, or we are still sticking to that plan. At some point, we had mentioned the possibility of doing life first, but it makes much more sense to do networking first. So multiplayer will come after these next 2 months. So we're gonna start. We are potentially gonna get another programmer to start helping out with the programming side of things. But right now we're gonna focus on finishing up Air Magic and getting the single player experience feeling really nice. And November we'll start transitioning to networking stuff and the spell sharing stuff. So we'll have an interface for sharing spells online, and for being able to share all that stuff. And then
Cool.
by early next year, hopefully by February of next year, we'll have multiplayer so that you can play multiplayer games in
Soccer, golf.
soccer and golf. Yeah. And to clarify multiplayer, because there's always questions about this, we're not making multiplayer like an MMO, and we're not planning on having dedicated servers of our own. It'll be
At least not in the short run.
Yeah,
I wish we
it'll
could.
be much more like,
That'd be awesome if we could. But
yeah, we might be able to at some point, but at least for now, it'll be much more like Minecraft or games like that, where you can create your own server and people can join your server. You can create a dedicated server as well, and run it on your computer and keep it running, and people can jump in and out. But we don't know how many people will be allowed per server, and we'll figure out all those questions as we go. That's
cool.
the plan.
Yeah. Any other questions in the chat?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll wait a second because everyone's behind.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it's like how they teach you in a classroom to wait after you ask a question and just stare. I want to run around.
Yeah. Yeah. I always wait a full 5 minutes. I just stare at my students for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's how you do it. I mean,
Even if they have questions, I just stare at them.
Yeah. Even if they're like raising their hands, you just stare at them and don't
exactly.
take their responses. The question is, what did you guys have for lunch / dinner?
Wait, is that really a question, or are you just making that up?
Jason and I did, in fact, have jalapeno cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburgers! Look how sparkly these rocks
That is
are.
real sparkly. I don't know if people can get that.
Oh, they'll get it.
Yeah. Now we'll need to fix that for next.
It is sparkly.
We haven't had dinner yet. I don't know what we're doing for dinner.
Who knows?
Probably, I don't know, something crazy. Anyway.
We don't eat, we just make CodeSpells. That's all we do.
That's not true.
We
make CodeSpells and occasionally play Rocket League.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Right. Definitely one of the best multiplayer soccer type games.
Yeah.
Push it.
The character in the game is 100% vegetarian, by the way. That's a great question.
Yeah.
So any vegetarian food is legit.
The characters?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
They've moved on.
They've
Life
they've
is
made
too precious for
vegetarian.
these wizards, and they know it.
They had to survive thousands of years without other creatures.
Yeah.
Okay, you're just making up lore now, I think.
I don't think that's how that works. You can't
You know, if you
just
say
make
it,
up
if you
lore.
say it in one of these updates, it becomes canon.
That's true. We gotta watch it.
Yeah, no, see, I don't think that's how lore works. You can't just make it up. That's not true. No, this character would not eat jalapeno hamburgers. Although, they would probably get jalapeno portobello burgers
Delicious.
with cheese.
Oh no!
They do.
Did we just give up mushrooms? Or mushrooms new feature in the game.
Yeah. Oh no. That's not true. Don't listen to Jason.
I would love to have some mushrooms.
I actually might put mushrooms in the game for real.
That is actually
Yeah.
possible.
That is
It's a good
totally
idea.
a possibility.
All right, so shrooms next
Cool.
month. Stay tuned.
Yeah, no, maybe. No promises.
No promises.
Bouncy
yes,
mushrooms.
that's true.
Oh man, it'd be so fun to have a mushroom you could jump on and bounce up on.
Oh boy.
Okay, alright.
I like
This
it.
is
I like it. All right, you two need to get some dinner.
Yeah. Alright, cool.
You are clearly hungry. All right. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thanks a lot.
And we will see you next month.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks everybody. Oh.